So back in 2008 and 2009, when the economy was crashing, we learned that the local rescue missions, food pantries, and distribution centers were running desperately low on food. So my cousin and I run a family farm. We grow flowers, cut flowers and greens, and we have about 500 acres through the valley here, so a pretty big operation. And at the time we were growing organic sunflowers, and so I went to my cousin and I said, if we can do this, we should be able to grow food, and there's a big need right now. And so we put a plan together, went and talked to the pastor at Rancho Community Church, Scott Treadway, and said, hey, we've got an idea here. You guys need food, and we think we can grow some for you. And we'll put the fields in, the irrigation system, all the infrastructure, if you can help get us volunteers to help farm. And he thought it was a great idea, so scrambled that first year to put it in, and we got these fields behind us. They were all fallow at the time, so we did the prep work and got them all in and did a rush job on the planting. And that first year, I think we grew about 35,000 pounds of food. And so everybody was pretty excited about that fresh food getting into the pantries and supplementing what they had.
My name is Megan Borlett. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Mission of Hope, and we love the Outreach Farm Project, and we partner with them in many ways. I think it's very important to, when we give to others, when we give to those who are in need, that we're giving things that we ourselves would want to eat. And so we would not want to just only rely on canned food. We want to bless people with what they actually would want to eat. And so that's where I love so much where the farm project comes in, because we're able to give watermelon, we're able to give squash, we're able to get tomato and lettuce, and our entire pantry we give fresh food and things from, we give meats and canned goods and all of it. We really just try to make that whole a well-rounded. We like to provide a well-rounded meal for our clients, because we want to give them the same thing that we would want. And so I just love that we get to do that with the farm. So what we do is we pick up from the farm. We have volunteer drivers where we go and we pick up a moving truck that has a lift, because there's that much produce to pick up. And we'll go up to the farm twice a week for the duration of the harvest. And so that's for a few months. And we'll go up there and we pick it up on pallets, and we bring it back here to the Community Mission of Hope. We actually deliver to other pantries that aren't able maybe to come get it if they don't have a van or a truck big enough. And we also have a few pantries that come here and that pick up and take back with them. So this is kind of the hub where all the produce comes, and we are blessed enough to have a walk-in fridge and freezer, and so we get to store a lot of it in there so that it doesn't go bad. And that's just kind of part of the process of getting it here, but many hands it takes. We have volunteers that go out to the farm Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday all throughout the harvest, and they harvest and they pick and they weigh and they sort, and then they box it all up for us, and then we go up there and we pick it up, and then we do the rest of the work here. We sort it, and then we give it out to our client.
By the second year, we were at 50,000 pounds, and then we just kept going up. I think we maxed out around 89,000 pounds one year. At one point, we were actually overproducing what they can handle, and that was about year 3, during the middle of the season. In our peak harvesting time, we could be harvesting between 7 or even 8,000 pounds a week, and that was just too much for them to handle. So we opened up a produce stand at the Rancho Community Church on Sundays to take that excess, and then for donations, they would get a bag of the fresh produce right off of the farm. And that generated about between $8,000 and $12,000 a year. We just finished up our season here in 2019, and with $8,000 this season, and the grand total since we started that is now over $85,000 that was raised for the rescue mission. That goes directly into their funds to supplement their needs. We're right at about 57,000 pounds for this season, so we'll finish up well into 60,000 range, which beats our goal for what we're trying to do. And that brings our grand total since we started. Once we finish out this season, we'll be over 700,000 pounds of fresh produce that we've produced. We have a great volunteer base. lots of groups come out, from Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to high schools, church groups, all kinds of community groups that come out and help do it, because Kendall Farms does all the prep work, like I mentioned, with the tractors and everything. Get it all laid out, but after that, it's all hand farming, and that doesn't happen without volunteers. And so people come out every Saturday for roughly 6 months, working in the fields for about 3 hours every Saturday. And then when we get into our harvest season, then we have to harvest on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well, because the squash especially won't wait for 7 days. They get way too big.
I started in 2012. I harvest vegetables, I help clean up. I also have kind of taken on the role of volunteer leader.
I look for a need and I fill it.
And when you do see that need, what does that typically have you doing?
Anywhere from weeding, planting seeds in the spring. Carrots, for example, are something that we plant here, and that's very tedious to know what is a weed and what is that tiny little carrot plant. The culture of love and kindness, giving back to the community, and we're just incredibly blessed. It's really, until you actually do this, you have no idea how blessed and how happy, how great it is. What a wonderful impact to be part of this.
So I've been coming out here, I believe, about 10 years. And my first experience was I didn't really understand the concept of what we're doing. I mean, I'm a gardener. I like to garden at home and such. But when I came out here to see the size of the work that we were doing here, it was just phenomenal to just come out here and just get away from things and be able to help growing food for the Community Mission of Hope. Well, we've tasted some of the food, of course, the watermelon, the zucchini, the melons, the tomatoes, peppers, and it's really pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the farm is the deep relationships that we've formed and friendships. And Troy and I have got, I call him my best friend, but it's been good. Our families, our boys, our kids grew up together, and that's been a real blessing. But all the people here, at the end of the season, we get together with all we call them the regulars, the core group, and it's a pretty neat time to just kind of stand back and look at the season and see how great all those wonderful people are, and how our lives are kind of getting knit together over the years. So it's good. It's been life-changing for me. You never know where your life is heading or where God's guiding your life, but I definitely looking back, there was a plan there, and that small seed that Troy planted by investing in this, invested in a lot of people's lives. And I'm talking about the people that are here working, and we're hopefully investing in the people that take this food.
It's just been an incredible journey. As far as when we started, we had no idea what it was going to turn into or how long it would last, and it's really turned into quite a program, and it's been very successful, not only in the yield and producing food for those in need, but also just the relationships of some special people that really have attached themselves to this program and this project, and they work incredibly hard every Saturday. It amazes me every year. I'm kind of forced to be out here. I live right here, and I started it, so I got to be out here. But everybody else, has to decide every morning when they wake up whether they're going to come out here, especially when in the hot days or whatever, working hard. It's not easy work, and yet, sure enough, every Saturday, those faithful show up and they want to work and make a difference, and that's incredibly impactful for me and my family, and just the core group that we have that come in and day out and make this happen. And then there's everybody else that comes in to help as well and bring it all together. And it's pretty neat when you see the boxes are full and the crates and the trailer full of truckloads of fresh, high quality produce leaving the fields every single week. It's pretty rewarding. So it's been a great experience, and I'm really grateful that we had the opportunity to put it together and make it happen. So it's been a good ride. The pumpkin patch is pretty special. We did last year in honor of my son that had passed away. We planted that, and his favorite charity is St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and so we make that harvest, and all the donations for that harvest go straight to St. Jude's in his name. So last year we were able to raise about $4,000